Since the dawn of the cartoon age, viewers have craved intense action, witty humor, and captivating art. These attributes came slashing onto the scene in the form of one of the most beloved cartoons in history, Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack is an eye-catching and time-splitting story following Jack on his voyage back to his time period, after being sent to the future by the evil wizard Aku. Hey, I'm SaberSpark with Channel Frederator, and today we'll be slicing into 107 facts about Samurai Jack. Let's get started. Number 1. Samurai Jack originally came about due to Tartakovsky's gripes with most action cartoons. He wanted to create a show that was cinematic and incorporated action, humor, and intricate artistry. With all of his complaints, he felt the need to walk the walk by making a show of his own. Number 2. Cartoon Network announced the lineup of shows including Samurai Jack on February 21st, 2001. The lineup also included Time Squad and Justice League. A pretty good time to be a cartoon fan, I'd say. Number 3. The first episode of Samurai Jack was released on August 10th, 2001. The debut was actually a 3-part premiere and gained major accolades. Number 4. To go along with the hype for this new show, there was an AOL sweepstakes. The winner of the sweepstakes won a trip for 4 to Japan. Other prizes included sneak previews of the show, exclusive cartoons, and character model sheets. Number 5. One of Tartakovsky's favorite character models was the traditional samurai. He felt that there's something very heroic, something mythical about carrying a sword and that's all you have to fight with, instead of, giant robots. Nothing against a good giant robot here and there though. Number 6. The series was kickstarted by the outcome of a fateful battle between Jack and Aku. Before the samurai could finish off Aku for good, Aku used his mystical powers to rip a hole in time and project Jack into the future. Number 7. With Jack being a samurai, it's only natural that there would be some violence. But since this show would be on a network aimed at young audiences, Tartakovsky had to find a workaround. That workaround was robots. The addition of the robot idea was a catalyst for the futuristic storyline and setting. Number 8. The art direction for Samurai Jack was handled by Scott Wills. He and Tartakovsky agreed that the show should have a real charm and get across concepts through the epic cinematic art itself. Next time you're looking at one of the beautiful backdrops throughout the series, remember this fact. Number 9. Storyboard artists like Brian Andrews, Paul Rudish, and others worked on Samurai Jack, came up with boards and the scenes. The writers then fit dialogue into the scenes, following the action since it is such a focal point. Number 10. Speaking of action as a focal point, the original Samurai Jack premiered trilogy featured an episode with a 2-minute montage of weapon making. That 2-minute montage was then followed by a 15-minute action-packed fight scene. That's a whole lot of action, just like Tartakovsky wanted. Number 11. The main antagonist in the series was Aku, a mystical deity-like being with magical abilities. The word Aku in Japanese actually translates to evil, so I guess it's safe to say that Jack literally fought evil. Number 12. Mike Lazo, Cartoon Network's head of programming at the time of Samurai Jack's release, stated that Tartakovsky pitched the show by asking him, "Hey, remember David Carradine and Kung Fu? Wasn't that cool?" Lazo agreed and was essentially on board from then on. Number 13. Even before pitching the show, Tartakovsky had many ideas already set in stone. An example of this was Aku's voice actor, Mako Iwamatsu. Tartakovsky stated that after hearing Iwamatsu in Conan, he loved his voice. "Mako was my number 1 choice, and I knew that he was going to be the villain no matter what." Well, having your mind set on something definitely has its benefits. Number 14. Mako Iwamatsu was also known for his voice work as Iroh in Avatar: The Last Airbender, which aired from 2005 to 2008 on Nickelodeon. Number 15. The voice of Jack was Phil Lamar, also known for playing Virgil Hawkins in Static Shock. He really knows how to electrify an audience. Number 16. Genndy Tartakovsky chose Lamar because he did what he simply expressed as really great lines, and he liked the feel and texture of his voice. Lamar felt as though the job was easy because Jack barely speaks throughout the course of episodes. Number 17. While creating concepts for Aku, Tartakovsky and the storyboarders agreed upon the ability to shapeshift. Shapeshifting made the fight scenes for Aku more dynamic and allowed a variety of moves to happen. Anything from turning into a scorpion to standing 30 feet tall. Number 18. The essential color scheme of Samurai Jack was white versus black, over a red background and underlying color. This was clearly depicted by Jack's white kimono and Aku's overall black figure. The idea of this stemmed from simplicity. Number 19. Tartakovsky utilized split-screen shots multiple times in Samurai Jack. He quoted movies including The Longest Yard as influences for this. Using split screen as a visual language helped get the action across. Number 20. Lighting was a really big factor when animating Samurai Jack. Scott Wills attributed Fritz Lang, a German filmmaker, to the influence of the sharp contrasting black and white shots seen in some episodes. Number 21. Jack's character was a prince, a warrior, and a genuinely good person. His weakness was his trustworthy nature, causing him to help anyone in need. Sometimes this led to disaster. Number 22. When creating Samurai Jack, Tartakovsky and crew studied Japanese culture in depth. Whether working on plot or dialogue, they were sure to stick to the Bushido Code, or the way of the warrior, as much as possible. This kept Jack sane and level-headed in the crazy futuristic environments he was in. Number 23. Not only was he in crazy futuristic environments, but Jack was also surrounded by new futuristic life forms and cultures. The setting allowed for an extremely vast creative platform to basically make whoever and whatever the creators wanted. Number 24. Tartakovsky did not want the action to get stale or repetitive. He decided that it would be best to incorporate a lot of choreography to make the action more entertaining. Jack definitely showed off some nice moves. Number 25. Storyboard artist Brian Andrews is actually well versed in martial arts. For many years, he practiced Chinese Wushu and Wing Chun. When he was coming up with a board for the show, he incorporated as much Kung Fu as possible. That's why Jack was seen taking down enemies in so many ways. Number 26. The writers and storyboarders constantly pushed for even more action, since it was so enjoyable. Oftentimes, they'd see a shot with a set number of poses and want even more from that. This caused some shots that were, let's say, 30 poses to become 60 poses of awesome combat. Number 27. When thinking about the musical stylings of the show, Tartakovsky had a lot of sounds that he knew he would want to be utilizing. This included Japanese drums to traditional Indian music, all coupled with hip-hop flair. He even had some techno and underground music that would be incorporated into the show. Number 28. The theme song for Samurai Jack was performed by will.i.am, a member of the hip-hop techno group Black Eyed Peas. These genres were exactly what Tartakovsky wanted to go with, so will.i.am was the perfect candidate. Number 29. As an intro to the theme song, Aku gave an excerpt explaining the plot of the show. Within that excerpt, we learned that Aku was still in control of the future, and understand more why Jack had enemies in this time period as well. Number 30. As stated before, Jack defeated his enemies in a ton of ways, but another huge reason behind this was the fact that Tartakovsky purposely made a different fighting style the focus of each episode, so it's not just the same sword action every time. There's even an episode in which Jack has to fight blindfolded. I bet the enemy did not see that coming. Number 31. When asked if he felt that the minimal dialogue would be too little for children, Tartakovsky stated, "I don't believe that children are turned off by long dramatic pauses and stuff like that. I think that we sort of disrespect children to a certain degree. Just because it's a little slow and doesn't have dialogue doesn't mean they won't pick up on it." Number 32. One person who originally found it to be a little slow was Brad Siegel, president of Turner Entertainment Networks. books. But after showing Samurai Jack to his kids, Siegel's mind changed completely. What better way to prove a kid's show than to show it to some kids, right? Number 33. Tartakovsky actually already had tons of experience on cartoons. Not only did he work heavily on the Powerpuff Girls, but he also created Dexter's Laboratory for Cartoon Network, which, of course, started as a short with Frederator. Number 34. Once Tartakovsky finished Dexter's Laboratory, he began to drift away from comedy. Thus, Samurai Jack was spawned. The ability to switch genres is one of the reasons he's so critically acclaimed. Number 35. Tartakovsky attended Cal Arts and Columbia of Chicago to pursue animation. It was at Columbia of Chicago that Tartakovsky created his first student cartoon film. He added that to his portfolio for Cal Arts since it was such a difficult institute to get into. He also sent a shoebox full of flipbooks just to take the initiative and show how passionate he was. Number 36. Tartakovsky did not want the fight scenes in the show to be just good. His passion drove him to want to create the most amazing fight sequences that anybody's ever seen. He also did not want to cheat the audience by only putting fight scenes after 15 minutes of dialogue. Less chat, more action. Number 37. Jack was indefinitely created to be a longer character with simple storylines. Having multiple personal relationships would have caused the story to have more ups and downs between characters, and Tartakovsky wanted the story to be told more visually than verbally. For this reason, Jack did not sustain too many relationships. He almost always had his sword though. That counts for something, right? Number 38. Jack did manage to gain one recurring acquaintance over the course of the show, the Scotsman, played by John DiMaggio. He came to Jack's aid on a few occasions. Number 39. The Scotsman was originally brought on to be Jack's rival. They engaged in a long battle, and the Scotsman even threw in by far the longest insult in the series. This showed just how nice Jack was, becoming friends with him even after he called him a long list of names. Number 40. John DiMaggio was also known at the time for voicing Bender from Futurama. His ability to project such an outward, coarse, and huge character perfectly contrasted Phil LaMarr as Jack. Number 41. John DiMaggio isn't the only one who voiced a character in Futurama. Phil LaMarr voiced Hermes in Futurama alongside him. They make a good voice tandem. Number 42. Jack's name wasn't actually Jack. No one's entirely sure what his name was, as it was never revealed in the show. He went by Jack because it was slang that some of the local characters called him. Number 43. Jack was well versed in a multitude of things. A montage showed young Jack leaving Japan to travel the world and expand his horizons. Through his travels, he learned archery, axe throwing, horse riding, stick fighting, wrestling, and much, much more. Number 44. Jack also knew many skills that allowed him to survive and thrive in the toughest times. He could fish, was an excellent carpenter, and was an overall survivalist. No wonder he could wander around for days on end and come out practically untouched. Number 45. The sword that Jack wielded was one of the most critically important things he possessed, as monks who were gifted by the gods crafted it. Being forged in this manner gave the blade itself immense powers, specifically created to stop a coup. Number 46. There were no lines around any of the characters in the series. Color schemes often had to contrast from the background to solidify and separate objects. The job of choosing those colors was handled by Leticia Lacey. Number 47. Character designs and models were actually drawn by two people, Lynn Naylor and Andy Siriano. They designed multiple wild characters and got them approved. The approved characters were then given to Lacey, and she would decide upon the colors from there. Number 48. Realistic humans were unwanted. Tartakovsky wanted cartoony characters and cartoony animation, but hardcore action. He stated that cartoony characters could do anything, and he's right. Number 49. Scott Will stated that one of the most challenging parts of Samurai Jack was the setting. If you pay attention, you'll notice that every single episode was in a completely new location. This meant that the vast majority of environment had to be reinvented every time. In some episodes, Jack had to travel through a couple of places to reach his destination. Creating unique environments was definitely no walk in the park. Number 50. Another very difficult part in the creation of Jack was the consistent growth and improvement of the series. Andy Siriano would find himself drawing Samurai Jack in ways that they drew it for previous seasons, instead of the ways of the current season. He would bring the designs to Tartakovsky, who would say, "Andy, we haven't drawn Samurai Jack like this in 4 years." Siriano always managed to correct any issues though. Number 51. Lynn Naylor, who wasn't necessarily accustomed to swords, sometimes had issues drawing Jack's hand placement. This would occasionally get under Brian Andrews' skin, as he wanted the swordsmanship to be as correct as possible. But of course he would, being that he studied martial arts. I cut her some slack. Number 52. The overseas direction and animation was handled by Yu Mun-young and Jae Bong-ko. Jiang went on to work on shows such as SpongeBob SquarePants and Futurama, while Ko has worked on shows including Kim Possible and Symbionic Titan. Number 53. Usually in cartoons, overseas animation is completed with little to no personal intervention. This was not the case for Samurai Jack. Jiang and Ko implemented their own genuine flair in some instances. They each genuinely enjoyed the show and liked knowing that their craft and creativity was truly valued. Number 54. Some of Tartakovsky's favorite shots were direct instances of animation from Jiang and Ko. One example of this was when Jack's father, also a samurai, fought a coup. Jiang was the main animator for that battle sequence. Number 55. In the episode Jack and the Haunted House, Andy Siriano specifically animated the shots of the horrors in the characters' heads. Tartakovsky enjoyed that shot and praised Siriano for it. Number 56. The episode Jack and the Rave involved a bunch of kids. Well, at a rave. We all know what happens at raves. Dancing. Lynn Naylor created each individual rave kid and designed how he or she would look while dancing. She ensured that every single one was unique. She does admit that she would have loved to bring in dancers for the choreography though. Number 57. Multiple episodes had huge crowds of characters. This was challenging for a lot of the crew, as this would incorporate everyone's time and talent. One specific color stylist, Lacey, had a brilliant idea to combat this situation. For the episode Chicken Jack, Lacey decided to use a palette of 3 colors. By alternating the patterns and intensities of those 3 colors, she managed to design every character in a stunning and unique fashion. Tartakovsky was taken aback by such a simple yet perfect strategy. Number 58. The original airing of Samurai Jack ran for 52 episodes spanning 4 seasons. Each episode was roughly 22 minutes in length. That's approximately 1,144 minutes of cinematic, captivating action between Jack and the many enemies he'd face. Number 59. The final episode of Season 4 aired on September 25th of 2004 and was titled Jack and the Baby. This concluded the series for the time being. Number 60. Earlier, we mentioned that Samurai Jack had won major accolades. Major is definitely the right word. Samurai Jack received 4 primetime Emmys, consisting of 3 for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Animation and 1 for Outstanding Animated Program. It deserved them. Number 61. Samurai Jack has also won multiple other awards, such as 6 Annies and 1 OIF. Safe to say, Samurai Jack slashed through the competition. Okay, I'll stop with the sword jokes. Number 62. The 3-part premiere special, entitled The Beginning, or The Premiere Movie, came out later on DVD and VHS. It was very highly acclaimed and gave fans access to director commentary. Cartoon fans and critics everywhere were loving Samurai Jack. Number 63. Channel 4, a British television network, released a poll to determine what were the 100 greatest cartoons of all time in 2004. Once results were in, Samurai Jack cracked the top 50, making it to the 42nd spot. Tartakovsky's prior work, Dexter's Laboratory, did not make the list. Improvement goes a long way. Number 64. In 2006, IGN drew up a list of the top 25 primetime animated series of all time. Samurai Jack came in at number 11. Later, another IGN list was created in 2009 entitled Top 100 Animated Series. There, Jack was ranked at 43. 3 years later, and still placing. You can't help but acknowledge the greatness of this series. Number 65. Upon their show's release in 2001, Paul Rudish and Tartakovsky knew just the way they wanted to market the action-packed cartoon. Action figures. Cartoon Network originally released some Samurai Jack action figures as early as that year. And to this day, people still collect, trade, and sell these awesome Samurai Jack figurines. So, can I get one? Number 66. Samurai Jack was adapted into 2 video games. Samurai Jack, The Amulet of Time for Game Boy Advance, and Samurai Jack, The Shadow of a Coup for GameCube and PlayStation 2. Why just watch our skilled hero when you can help him defeat evil? Number 67. While Gindi and the team knew about the creation of Samurai Jack games, they couldn't completely split their effort between it and the show. Still, they made time to give some input and be of assistance when possible. The original cast lent their voices to the game, giving it a bit more of the charm from the television series. Thanks, guys. Number 68. Unsurprisingly, the wild success and the cinematic, captivating animation of Genndy Tartakovsky's Samurai Jack caught the people's eyes. Some of the curious eyes belong to the employees at Lucasfilm. They contacted Tartakovsky about creating some Star Wars shorts. He said yes, and thus Star Wars Clone Wars was born. Not to be confused with Star Wars The Clone Wars, which came at a later date. Number 69. Originally, Lucasfilm wanted Tartakovsky to create 1-minute shorts. Tartakovsky respectfully expressed that he, quote, couldn't really do anything significant with 1-minute episodes. It's simply too short a time to tell a story. End quote. After the Lucasfilm executives were informed that they would be working with the same team that crafted Samurai Jack, they were happy to extend the time of the shorts to 3 minutes. Good move. Who knew Samurai Jack had that much power? Number 70. Instead of making the Samurai Jack team stick strictly to the storylines of Star Wars, Lucasfilm trusted them to do Star Wars justice after watching and admiring their work on Samurai Jack. Tartakovsky said that the team went home to develop a unique storyline full of new character designs and points of view. When they came back to pitch the idea, Lucasfilm loved it. Number 71. In 2013, IDW Publishing began publishing a brand new Samurai Jack comic. The comic would be handled by both Jim Zub, who worked on the Skull Kicker comics, and Andy Siriano, an original character designer for Samurai Jack TV series. Number 72. The Samurai Jack comic would continue from where the series left off, and bring in new adventures instead of retelling what the series had already explained. These new comic adventures debuted on October 23rd, 2013. The first comic was entitled Samurai Jack: The Threads of Time. Number 73. Writer Jim Zub felt as though he could write Samurai Jack forever. He stated that, quote, Genndy and his crew put together a really powerful mix of elements when they created Samurai Jack. It's a genre melting pot, fusing martial arts, fantasy, science fiction, and just about any other type of genre fiction you could imagine. It can be downright silly at times, but also surprisingly deep and philosophical. That incredibly broad range, all of it in play, is a wonderful sandbox to play in. It continually generates new ideas, and I don't think I could ever run out. End quote. Number 74. Zub, working with the already certified Samurai Jack artist Andy Siriano, was a bit nervous at times. There were instances that he thought Siriano would tell him he's doing it wrong, or Jack would never do that. Fortunately, Siriano was fully supportive of his ideas, and they pushed each other to be more creative. Number 75. Issue 18 of the Samurai Jack comic was actually written by Siriano. Naturally, he did the art for that issue as well. That that's some dedication. Number 76. The first story arc of the Samurai Jack comic spanned 5 issues. While the series focused primarily on a new story every episode, Zub aimed to hook in a new audience and keep them just as interested and aware as existing fans would be, allowing them to understand all the elements he and Suriano would be bringing to Samurai Jack. Number 77. The 5-issue story arc actually would have some input from the series creator Genndy Tartakovsky. He contributed a variety of covers that would serve as alternates for those that subscribe to the comics. Zub mentioned that he was a fan of all of Genndy's work, especially Samurai Jack, so he couldn't be happier that Tartakovsky was involved. Number 78. Jim Zub's Samurai Jack comic ran for about 2 years and spanned for 20 issues. There's quite a bit to catch up on if you didn't know about them before, but don't worry, it's not necessary to enjoy the upcoming revival. Number 79. The final issue of the comic, entitled Mako the Scribe, serves as a possible ending to Jack's story from Jim Zub's perspective. Though it is a definitive kind of closer, it's set in the distant future. This allows the story to continue if needed, within the comic's time frame between the first issue and the comic finale. Number 80. In October of 2016, IDW released a full set of the Samurai Jack comic collection. The collection was called Tales of the Wandering Warrior. Zubs let all his fans know on his Twitter page, of course. Number 81. There had been talks of a Samurai Jack movie dating all the way back to 2002, but the plans always seemed to fall through. Tartakovsky is still very adamant about the possibility though. He stated that he was fighting for it every year and believes that its fan following is still strong since its start in 2001. I, for one, would love to see Jack in action on the big screen. Number 82. J.J. Abrams originally had a hand in the history of the Samurai Jack movie, as he is a big fan of the show. Hey, we wouldn't mind him being involved. Abrams approached Tartakovsky about making the film, and Tartakovsky was totally on board. Unfortunately, Abrams got very busy with other projects, and without his name behind the Samurai Jack film, it was difficult to keep it afloat. Number 83. We definitely think Tartakovsky is right about fans still loving Samurai Jack. Several reruns have been shown on multiple Cartoon Network platforms. Boomerang aired it from 2009 to 2011, and then from 2012 to 2014. Toonami on Adult Swim ran it from 2014 to 2015. Number 84. In December of 2015, Adult Swim confirmed that there would be a new season of Samurai Jack. This season will begin airing in March of 2017. This announcement was met with satisfaction and excitement from longtime fans, many of which may finally find out how Jack's story concludes. Number 85. The long-awaited Season 5 of Samurai Jack will be aired on Adult Swim with a TVMA rating. This allows for more mature situations and concepts to be displayed throughout the final season. Number 86. What? Final season? Well, yeah, it's been confirmed that Season 5 will be the final season of Samurai Jack. Finally, the storyline will come to an end and give us all the conclusion to Samurai Jack's adventure. Number 87. Phil Lamar has stated that the questions he got asked most often during the break in the series involved Samurai Jack's ending. He jokingly stated, quote, "The answers you're looking for are way above my pay grade." End quote. Even Jack wasn't sure what would happen to Jack until now. Number 88. At San Diego Comic-Con 2016, Tartakovsky spoke about how Season 5 came to be. He said it was always in the back of his mind, especially with the hopes to create a movie, but was worried it would never come to happen. Eventually, he sent an email that led to a conversation with Mike Lazo, who runs Adult Swim. After that, progress finally picked up. Number 89. Beyond allowing for more mature content, there was also other reasoning behind Samurai Jack being aired on Adult Swim's Toonami block. Since Adult Swim starts at 8 o'clock and Cartoon Network doesn't air shows like Samurai Jack anymore, the new season felt like it could fit into the late night airing. That and Lazo really wanted to get Samurai Jack back on the air. Sounds like a nice fit to me. Number 90. Tartakovsky feels as though Season 5 is going to be deeper than anything he's ever done. There will be underlying themes to pick up on throughout Jack's final journey, and will ultimately bring even more depth to the series. Number 91. Tartakovsky said that he has a story he's wanted to tell since he finished the 4th season of Samurai Jack. It's something that he's always dreamed of doing with animation that is super challenging, but if done right, will leave people in tears. Get your tissues ready. Number 92. The crew of Samurai Jack feels like the show got more and more popular over the last 10 years. They feel like the timing of this return is impeccable due to such high demand. True, it's what we've been waiting for. Number 93. Writer Derek Bachman says Season 5 will show Jack in a different and slightly unexpected light. The first 4 seasons showed him as a very noble man who is walking along the path of righteousness. As so much time has passed, he has now lost his way. Jack must find himself again. Number 94. Tartakovsky took into account people may watch Jack with their children, even though it has changed platforms to Adult Swim. He did not want to go full-on heads getting chopped off, blood spurting in all directions. He did take advantage of the new platform to add more intensity, however. The tone is darker, and the action is more serious. Number 95. Character designer Craig Kelman says there has been some redesigning done stylistically. Season 5 will feature more elegant, heroic stylings and look a bit less cartoony to match the tone and story. Works for us. Number 96. You may have noticed that in Season 5, Jack now has a beard. Like, a serious beard. One of those, I'm not sure if there's actually a face under their beards. We can't wait to find out just how grizzled he's gotten. Beyond his facial hair, we mean. Number 97. As artists from the original Samurai Jack seasons who are brought back, Brian Andrews and Scott Wills are getting accustomed to the new technology available. While Andrews transitioned a bit more smoothly to drawing on tablets, Wills found his transition to be incredibly challenging. The original Samurai Jack was hand-painted, and Wills wants it to look as much like the original as possible through today's digital interfaces. Number 98. Phil Lamar will still be voicing Jack in Season 5. Tartakovsky says that Lamar just gets it. With the more emotional and serious context of the upcoming season, he also stated that Lamar has taken it to the next level. Happy to hear you're back, Lamar. Number 99. Derek Bachman's absolute favorite character to write for is Aku. Not only for his energy, but because he's the most hilarious person in the show's universe. That said, it will be interesting to see Aku in an even more serious and intense setting. Number 100. Mako Iwamatsu, the original voice actor for Aku, passed away on July 21st, 2006. Gendy loved his voice acting so much that he refused to reimagine Aku's voice. In full respect, he hired the best impressionist he could find for the job. In the end, the crew agrees that no one could ever fully replace Mako. Number 101. Lamar has worked on a lot of fantastic shows, but he finds Samurai Jack to be something special. He doesn't see it as a regular cartoon, but more like a work of art. Hey buddy, you helped take it to that level. Number 102. On February 6, 2016, Adult Swim released the official trailer for Samurai Jack Season 5. It is referred to as a limited series, and the premiere will air on March 11th, 2017 at 11 p.m. Will you be tuning in? Number 103. The trailer for Samurai Jack Season 5 reveals that there will be a time skip of 50 years. Tartakovsky states that the final episode of Season 4 and the first episode of the new season have absolutely no correlation. So you do not have to watch the last episode of Season 4 to start watching the premiere. But we still may binge it all beforehand. Number 104. It is also stated by the trailer that Jack does not age. While it is not yet revealed if that is literal or metaphorical, Jack states that time lost its effect on him. Time definitely still affects his hair though. Number 105. Throughout the original 4 seasons, Jack killed a total of 0 humans. Since the new platform is Adult Swim, is it possible that he may cross that line? Tartakovsky said that it's not something Jack would do without second thought. He would definitely reflect on it after years of only fighting robots. That's definitely a more mature lane to travel in. Number 106. Tartakovsky said there will be a sort of reveal in every sequence and episode. The 10-episode series will form one big idea and story, with different twists and turns along the way. In the end, the series is Jack's last journey of trying to get back to the past. And number 107. In 2016, Samurai Jack was listed as an honorable mention in the top 100 TV series of all time, featured in Max Zoller Zeitz and Alan Speenwall's book, TV, the Book. Thanks for watching 107 Facts About Samurai Jack. Which character is your favorite? Are you excited for the new season? Comment below and let us know. We have new videos dropping every week, so let us know which animated film or TV show you would want us to cover next. And if you like getting more from your cartoons, subscribe to Channel Frederator, your cartoon central on the internet.